Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiv Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Dire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhavati Naishtiki. So today we will start the seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita because we completed the sixth chapter last time. So the sixth chapter ended when Krishna described the in sixth chapter Krishna described the yoga process, what is self-realized yogi, what are the qualities he has. And then Arjuna asked a question that what happens to a person who leaves the material enjoyment, material desires, and wants to make progress in the yoga path, but he doesn't. If he doesn't complete, if he doesn't come to the perfection, and he falls down, what happens? So Krishna explains that what happens to a person who falls down after little progress, and what happens when person falls down after higher, more progress. And then he again talks about yoga process, and then in the end he says, Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana. Means of all the yogis, the person who is abiding in me with faith, that is the topmost. Means one who is performing bhakti. So that's where the sixth chapter ends. So the chapter 1 through 6 of Bhagavad Gita describes Karma Yoga, and Hatha Yoga is part of Karma Yoga. Hatha Yoga or the Ashtanga Yoga, whatever you want to call it, Dhyana Yoga, whatever you want to call it, it's part of Karma Yoga. And now chapter 7 through 12 is Bhakti Yoga, and 13 through 18 is Jnana Yoga. So why chapter 7 through 12 is, I mean, the Bhakti Yoga, which is most important, we'll see when we come to ninth chapter and the end last verse of ninth chapter, Krishna talks about Bhakti. Why it is kept in the middle. So Acharyas have explained, just like Bhakti Yoga is so important, and Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga are like the cover of the book. So the middle part of the book is kept nicely protected by the both the covers. Or if there is something valuable, we keep it hidden. We keep it covered from all the sides. So that's why Bhakti Yoga is so valuable. It is hidden. It is covered by Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga. The protection is there. So Krishna starts this now. Well, it's the seventh chapter. Krishna doesn't say it's a seventh chapter. It's Ved Vyasi. He demarcated like that. So now the text one of seventh chapter. Shri Bhagwan Vacha Maya Sakt Manah Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashreya Asancham Samagram Mam Yatha Gyasasi Tatshanu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, now hear, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. So far Krishna said, what is yoga? And best of all the yogis, the best is one who abides by me with faith. Now Krishna will tell in detail how to practice that yoga. That is important. And now he says, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full. I mean, to know Krishna in full, it's pretty big thing. Nobody can know him in full. Actually, we can know him to the extent he reveals himself to us. Even that revelation, even if it is only like 0.000000001% of Krishna, even that is, for us, it is full. There's nothing beyond that we need to know. Because this is our capacity. We cannot handle more than that. But to know him in full, it's like one cannot know him in full by one's own efforts. One can only know him in full, to whatever extent he wants to reveal, by mercy of Krishna. That's it. There's no other way possible. And the mercy flows where the service is. So that's why Krishna is saying, no, the last words of sixth chapter, one who abides by me in faith, one who serves me, he's a perfect, he's the best of the yogis. And now, when we practice that yoga in full consciousness of Krishna with mind attached to him, one can know him in full, free from doubt. And then later verses are there, very nice verses are there. And now in this chapter, entitled is Knowledge of the Absolute. So Krishna gave little knowledge about him in fourth chapter. Very little, not a whole lot. But now he talks about himself. And in these 6 chapters, there's a whole lot that is discussed about Krishna. Who is Krishna? Who is God? And how to serve him in bhakti with full love and devotion. That's why these middle 6 chapters are very, very important for anybody who wants to perform bhakti yoga. Okay, purport. In the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the nature of Krishna consciousness is fully described. Krishna is full in all opulences, and how he manifests such opulences is described herein. Also, 4 kinds of fortunate people who become attached to Krishna, and 4 kinds of unfortunate people who never take to Krishna are described in this chapter. In the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, the living entity has been described as non-material spirit soul, capable of elevating himself to self-realization by different types of yogas. At the end of 6th chapter, it has been clearly stated that the steady concentration of the mind upon Krishna, or in other words, Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of all yoga. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely, but not otherwise. Impersonal Brahmjyoti or localized Paramatma realization is not perfect knowledge of the absolute truth because it is partial. So, just knowing Paramatma feature or Brahmjyoti feature is not full, it's only partial. To know Krishna as himself, as Bhagwan, that is getting towards knowing him in full. Full and scientific knowledge is Krishna, and everything is revealed to the person in Krishna consciousness. It is revealed to him. It's not the knowledge that we can study, we can gather in any university or in any lecture. This knowledge is always revealed. That's why every morning when we sing Guru Ashtakam or Guru Puja, when we do, so we pray to the spiritual master because by his mercy, Divya Gyan Hirday Prakashito. The divine knowledge is revealed in our heart. When is it revealed? When our heart is ready. Then it is revealed. Or it is revealed in proportion to the entitlement or readiness of the heart. So that's how this knowledge works. There is no, even if somebody gets Bhagavad Gita is considered ABC of spiritual knowledge. So even to understand Bhagavad Gita, we need a guru. And not only guru, even the guru is there. And even if we have learned under him, still this knowledge has to be revealed by Krishna. Even if we know the theoretical words, but the meaning, the real import of the words will be revealed to us when we are ready. That's the beauty of Bhagavad Gita. Those who are scholars, they study Bhagavad Gita, they may be writing thesis on Bhagavad Gita's verses. But if they have no qualification, the knowledge will not be revealed to them. They can keep on studying it for millions of years. That qualification is necessary. And Krishna has given the qualifications that are necessary for understanding Bhagavad Gita in fourth chapter. When he told Arjun that I am giving you this knowledge because you are my devotee and you are my friend. And in this chapter, yeah, in this chapter he says, and because you are non-envious of me. So three qualities are required: devotee, being a devotee, being friend of Krishna, and being non-envious of Krishna. And then in proportion to our surrender, in proportion to our bhakti, in proportion to our level of advancement, Krishna reveals this knowledge to us. So this clearly shows us that in bhakti there is no competition. Actually, there is no competition. We make progress, Krishna gives us a revelation. Other person, maybe he is making more progress, maybe he is making less progress. So he will get the revelation according to his progress. Competition means, well, healthy competition can be there, but normally competition means enviousness from other devotees. So that cannot be there. Because Krishna, if we become envious of anybody, especially on the path of bhakti, that means we have no faith in Krishna. That means we think Krishna doesn't know what he is doing. He is giving the other person so much more than myself. So, Krishna, you better leave that position. You better put me in that position wherever you are. Because I know better than you. I know how much to give to that person and how much to give to me. And that's nonsense. Then we haven't even understood. Just like Prabhupada, I, I don't exactly remember which year it was, but it was pretty much like in late 70s, 75 or 74, something like that. Not early 70s, I mean. Because 77 is when Prabhupada left his body. He called all his GBC members, all the sannyasis who were in the movement from time point of view, not in for too long, but they had done so much of service, they had done so many austerities for Prabhupada. So they were very much advanced. And Prabhupada called them in his room, all the seniors of his con, and he asked them one simple question: do you all have faith, full faith, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? It's a very simple but very profound question. And the sannyasis there, I mean, later on, I heard from one sannyasi, he said, if somebody else had asked me this question, I could have really answered yes. But if Prabhupada is asking, none of us dared to say anything. Nobody spoke a single word. Because if we have this faith, like Prabhupada had, then there is nothing impossible for us. And Prabhupada did say that if I find only few people who have this kind of faith, we can take over the whole world in 18 days. Only 18 days. Is that we can preach all over the world in 18 days. Can we imagine? And it's been 50 years since ISKCON has started. And Prabhupada hasn't found those people with full faith. Because still, ISKCON hasn't taken over the whole world in 50 years. And Prabhupada was claiming that we can take over in 18 days only. Why 18 days? Because he said Mahabharat war lasted for 18 days. And so we can also take over the world in 18 days. So it's not a small thing when, especially when Prabhupada is asking, or if we ask ourselves this question, do we have this faith? No. So only thing is, yeah, there is nothing to feel bad about. But yes, we have to work hard. We have to go for even for quite some time now on this path of bhakti. We have a long way to cover. If we have faith, if we are surrendered, Krishna will reveal everything to us. Just like this chapter is knowledge of the absolute. It's about transcendental knowledge, right? Now, spirit soul is part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is Satchidananda Vigraha, Sat, Chit, and Anand. So, spirit soul is also Sat, Chit, and Anand. Sat means eternal, Chit means knowledge, Anand means bliss. So, the knowledge is there. Soul is made up of knowledge, full knowledge. So, the knowledge is already there. Soul is not lacking in anything. It just knowledge is covered over by Maya. Every knowledge is there in the soul. It's just covered over. So by practice of yoga, by practice of bhakti, we try to remove that covering. Slowly it removes. Cheto darpana marjanam. The covering is getting removed. So more the covering is removed, more the knowledge is revealed. That's all. Then the connection is established, better connection is established, better knowledge is revealed. So that's why again and again this is said, the knowledge is revealed to us. It's not like Krishna gives a new knowledge to us. We already have this knowledge. It's just like when Hanumanji with the whole army, and they were looking for Sita, and they went to this uh, ocean, and Sambati told them that Ravan had taken Sita to Sri Lanka, which is 100 yojan away, 800 miles away. So everybody then got down and they reminded Hanumanji of his strength, of his power. Because nobody else was, everybody else knew their powers, but they said we cannot jump and then come back also. There's no way. Only Hanumanji could do that. But Hanumanji had forgotten his powers. So everybody reminded him of these powers. And the best part was nobody was envious of Hanumanji. That, oh, why? How come he's going to do it? Why can't I do it? Arey Baba, you cannot do it. Simple as that. So similarly, we as spirit souls, we have every knowledge. Everything is there. It's just the covering of Maya is there that has to be removed. And slowly, that covering is removed. And this is what we sing every morning also, right? When we sing Guru, the praise of Guru, that I was born in the darkness of ignorance. Om Agyanti Mrindasya Gyananjana Shalakya. And my spiritual master, by the lamp of knowledge, he has removed that darkness. So I am very grateful to that Guru. So he has just removed the darkness. He hasn't given the new knowledge. Knowledge already there. So Krishna also doesn't give new knowledge. Knowledge already there. He just helps us removing the darkness, the covering. So full and scientific knowledge is Krishna, and everything is revealed to the person in Krishna consciousness. In complete Krishna consciousness, one knows that Krishna is the ultimate knowledge beyond any doubts. Different types of yoga are only stepping stones on the path of Krishna consciousness. Aja, another thing about the knowledge. I don't know, somehow we'll be stuck at the first paragraph only, looks like. So when we are completely in Maya, when we haven't taken up this process of bhakti, Krishna consciousness, or yoga, then we don't know who Krishna is. then we have no knowledge, because the knowledge, nothing is revealed to us. When we are on the path of bhakti, then something is getting revealed slowly, slowly, slowly. We're getting to know more and more and more and more about Krishna and our relationship with Krishna. And then when we get to know to the extent that we are eligible to be promoted to the spiritual world, then again we forget who Krishna is. Because we forget the grandeur of Krishna. We forget all the opulences of Krishna. Because Yashoda Maya doesn't think Krishna is God. She treats him as a little baby. Oh, you will see 2 days later on Janmashtami. Everywhere there will be displays of Yashoda Maya and Lala. Everywhere. And she treats him just like a baby. She doesn't treat him like God. Radharani and Gopis, they don't treat him like God. His friends, cowherd boyfriends, they jump on his back. They don't treat him like God. So in the beginning, we don't know about Krishna. In the middle, we try to know about Krishna. And in the end, we don't want to know about Krishna, who Krishna is. Because there's so much of love. We are so much happy or so much satisfied in our relationship with Krishna. We don't want to know about his godly features. But of course, at that time, we are in full knowledge. So everything is revealed, but we don't want to get that knowledge come in between our relationship with Krishna. So that, of course, that relationship is what pleases Krishna most. Not about his godly opulences. If we talk about that, or if we treat him like a very big king or god or very strong person, he doesn't like that. So so this is the beauty of bhakti, that we forget who Krishna is. It's just in the middle part, when we are trying to make progress, we have to know who Krishna is. So Krishna, he'll talk about himself in this chapter, and a little bit more about the relationship of the soul with Krishna. Because this knowledge is important. His opulences are to be known. Otherwise we'll not develop faith in him. Why Krishna is telling all this to Arjun? So Arjun understands who Krishna is, and when Krishna says fight, he better fights. 9 cantos of Bhagavatam, Shukdev Goswami talks only about opulences of Krishna, different degrees of opulence of Krishna. Although he knew Parikshit Maharaj had only 7 days to live. So pretty much like 5.5 days, he's talked about opulences of different incarnations of Krishna. And finally, he talked about Krishna and Krishna's pastimes. And he ends where? Symptoms of Kali Yuga. But Parikshit Maharaj was so listening in rapt attention, he understood the real message. So opulences of Krishna are important for us to know. We cannot jump directly to relationship with Krishna. We say, oh, हम तो भाव में हैं. I'm in bhav with Krishna. That's not bhav actually. It's bhavukta. It's only sentimentalism. If bhav is there, then the previous steps that lead to bhav are supposed to be covered. Previous steps are Shraddha, then Sadhu Sangha, then Bhajan Kriya, Anarth Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, then Bhav, and then Prem. If previous steps are covered, then we can understand one is in Bhav situation. But one who is at the level of Bhav, he never says he's in Bhav. That's a problem. He will never say that. So only neophyte devotees like us, we talk about, oh, I'm in Bhav with Krishna. What Bhav? We have to know his opulences first. Very important. That establishes a relationship of that Krishna is my Supreme Lord. He will protect me. And this is what Arjun understood. He will protect me. He has come here, Krishna says in 11th chapter, when he shows the Virat Roop, I have killed all these soldiers who have assembled here. I've killed all the warriors. Then Arjun, and when he showed his Virat Roop to Arjun, then Arjun, he understood. And then he later said, I cannot relate with this Virat Roop. I'm very scared. Please remove it. Please show me your two-handed form. And then Krishna first shows him four-handed form and then reveals to him two-handed form. Just to give him assurance that everything is in me and I am sitting on your chariot. I am your chariot driver. So don't worry, I'll take care of you. So this knowledge is very, very important, and understanding the Krishna's position is very important. And when we understand Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, not an ordinary person, he can act like an ordinary person. Oh, he can act like he's a little boy stealing yogurt and butter and whatever nonsense he does. But that is his super pastimes with his intimate devotees. Very, very intimate devotees. He doesn't act like that with everybody and anybody. Or just like in America, they say, no, with any Tom, Dick, or Harry. He doesn't act like that. So we have to understand his position and then understand our position also at the same time. Who we are. We are nobodies. Krishna just allows us because of his relationship with Srila Prabhupada. He's allowing us to do some service to him. That's all. Because he's thankful to Prabhupada, what Prabhupada has done. And it's because of recommendation of Prabhupada or because we are somehow clinging on to dhoti of Prabhupada, Krishna is allowing us. Okay, chalo, tum bhi aa jao, tum bhi aa jao. Otherwise, we are not qualified. So we have to take this process, why coming down to our process of sadhana bhakti, especially this Vedhi sadhana bhakti. We have to take it up very seriously. Yes, Prabhupada's mercy is there, Prabhupada's guidance is there, Prabhupada's protection is there, but we have to do our part. So we clean up our heart, and then hope that by Prabhupada's mercy and by Krishna's mercy, we will get to know about Krishna to a better degree than we know about him right now. So let the knowledge be revealed to us. Okay. One who takes directly to Krishna consciousness automatically knows about Brahmjyoti and Paramatma in full. By practice of Krishna consciousness yoga, one can know everything in full, namely the absolute truth, the living entities, the material nature, and the manifestation with paraphernalia. Just like, see, one who, by practice of Krishna consciousness, one can know everything in full. Means nothing should be lacking. Everything can know everything in full, and what he can know? Absolute truth, the living entities, the material nature, and their manifestations with paraphernalia. Now, what is there left then? Everything is covered. Of course, we like to jump to the pastimes, sweet pastimes of Krishna, which is also good. It gives us some taste, but we have to know the philosophy also properly. One should therefore begin yoga practice as described in the last verse of the 6th chapter. Concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in 9 different forms, of which Shravanam is the first and most important. See, Prabhupada is writing. Shravanam, the first one. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. Shravanam is most important. The Lord therefore says to Arjun, Tat Shrinu, or hear from me. No one can be a greater authority than Krishna. And therefore by hearing him, therefore by hearing from him, one receives the greatest opportunity to become a perfectly Krishna conscious person. One has therefore to learn from Krishna directly, or from a pure devotee of Krishna, and not from a non-devotee upstart, puffed up with academic education. So one has to see who he hears about Krishna from. Very important. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, this process of understanding Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, is described in the 2nd chapter of the 1st canto as follows. So we have covered these shlokas, and Prabhupada talks about the translation. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing about him. See? And one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. So what is it that he purifies? Heart is dirty anyway. It's all material. Mind is material, intelligence is material, everything is material, everything is dirty. What he purifies is the consciousness. From body consciousness, we start becoming Krishna conscious. So from body conscious, we start becoming Krishna conscious. From the consciousness of being the enjoyer, controller, proprietor, we start becoming, I'm a servant of Krishna. Not just a servant of Krishna, I'm servant of his servants also. And this revelation, this realization is not only about writing in the email or in the WhatsApp messages, your humble servant or your insignificant servant. It actually comes from the heart. Right now, it's just it has become what we call that pen name, your humble servant, or your most insignificant servant. We don't really mean it, we just write it actually. So that's because we are not purified yet. We don't have an affinity of hearing or service. We're doing, of course we are trying, but the real thing is not there yet. The service mood is not there. It's still the enjoying mood is there. Controlling mood is there. So he acts as a best wishing friend and purifies a devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. See, he doesn't get new knowledge. There's no, like Prabhupada also said in one of his uh, beautiful narration of what is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And he says, every child can take part in it, and there is no artificial imposition on the mind. It's a natural ability of every living entity. So here also he says, he naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. So it's knowledge, it's dormant, it's hidden, it's covered over. So he removes that covering, Krishna removes that covering, so he develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavad,
Prabhuji can't hear you.
I'm also not able to hear anything, Prabhu. I think Prabhuji is disconnected. Yeah, now he's joined. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. You got disconnected. Now you are twice appearing. Your voice is not coming through.
Okay, now it will come through.
Yes, 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 Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, so anartha nivritti, and then after anartha nivritti, then it comes to the level of nishtha. And this is what Prabhupada is writing. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from devotees, he becomes fixed. Fixed means nishtha in the devotional service of the Lord. And by development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance. Then he becomes, again, more anartha nivritti happens. And thus material lust and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure devotees, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the science of Krishna, science of God perfectly. So then he further advances in the further stages, and ruchi, asakti, bhava, prem. Thus, bhakti yoga severs the hard knot of material affection. So bhakti yoga cuts the hard knot, bhidyate hriday granthi of material affection. So the material affection is, we are so tightly bound by material affection for this body and the byproducts of this body or anything related to this body. And that has to be actually cut. Means we cannot undo it. We cannot open it up. It has to be cut. It's so hard. And it's bound up over the millions and millions of lifetimes. And that's why Prabhupada gave the definition of sadhu, or scriptures give the definition of sadhu. Sadhu means one who cuts. What does he cut? He cuts this knot of material affection, and he cuts by his words. That is sadhu. So bhakti yoga severs. Why bhakti yoga severs? Because then we are getting the new connection with Krishna established. That connection getting established, so this connection is automatically getting cut. Of course, when the connection with Krishna is not established properly, and the connection with material relationships is getting cut, that's where the stage of confusion is there. That's where we get scared. Oh, what if I give this up and I don't get Krishna? Then what will happen to me? That's natural. It happens with everybody. Because we have to be connected somewhere. The soul needs, the need of soul is love. Right now we're looking for love in different places. That's all. So the hard knot of material affection is cut and enables one to come at once to the stage of asansham samagram, understanding of the supreme absolute truth, personality of Godhead. And this is what the shloka says. He comes at once to the stage of asansham samagram, without any doubts. Full understanding of the supreme absolute truth, personality of Godhead. Nobody uses these words in any book you can pick up. But Prabhupada, understanding of supreme absolute truth, personality of Godhead, they would write understanding of Krishna. But Prabhupada wants to establish the position of Krishna properly. He's the supreme absolute truth and the supreme personality of Godhead. He's not an ordinary person. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna. It's a big science because later verses we'll see why is it called science of Krishna. Science because, like in chemistry, when we studied chemistry, so we read theoretically of you add NaCl plus H2O, you get NaOH plus HCl. Then we did practical experiment in the lab, and then we tested. Okay, whatever the result was it whatever the theory said? Then we confirmed yes. So this is also science of Krishna. Whatever is written in the Srimad Bhagavatam or the scriptures, okay, it is theoretical for us right now. We apply it. We can apply it practically. We can test it, and the results will come. The results will be there, provided we fulfill the conditions of all the things that are required properly for the experiment to be successful. So like for the experiment, there were some experiment, they were conditioned like the temperature should be at this level. If we have to add some catalyst, we should add the catalyst, right amount of catalyst. Then we'll get the reaction will be complete, and we get the whatever chemical products that we are supposed to get. We will get. So similarly here, so Prabhupada again he's saying, we have to hear about Krishna from his devotee in Krishna consciousness. Or we hear directly from Krishna. Since we are not qualified as Arjun that we hear directly from Krishna, so we have to hear from his devotee in Krishna consciousness. And how do we hear? He told clearly in 4th chapter. Tadvidhi pranipatin vari prashnin sevya. Approach a spiritual master, approach a self-realized person, humbly serve him and ask him questions. Humbly, not challengingly. Then he will reveal the truth to you because he has seen the truth. So many conditions are there. So we fulfill those conditions, we do the experiment, results definitely will come. So I guess I'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments. I wasn't sure that we'll just cover one verse today, but it so happened. Hare Krishna. So any questions or comments? Who is it? Narhari Prabhu there?
Yeah, I think so.
Very well. His name is a little different. He got some phone number, I guess. Narhari Prabhu, Jai Ho.
I think he's not hearing or what. Hare Krishna
Okay.
Prabhu, 9034834888.
Yeah, his mic is off. Yeah, it's his number. Anyway, any other question or comment? See, moments like this, I miss Subramaniam Prabhu because he would bring up nice comments.
Yeah, I know.
He's a scholarly devotee.
Yeah, very much so. He's very talented and he attentively listens every.
Yeah.
Our attentive listening is a little dull. We listen half, more than half goes above the head.
It's the same everywhere. Chalo, I guess then we can stop here.
Thank you very
Nobody
much,
has any
Prabhu.
question. Thank you, Prabhuji. You all have a wonderful day. Enjoy.
Tomorrow
Enjoy
we are
yours.
looking for the.
Yeah, we'll talk about appearance of Lord Krishna. Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Jai Shila Prabhupada.
Hare
Thank
Krishna
you.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much.